Hello friends, and welcome back to Dishonored 2, You Only Live Once. In the last episode, we completely owned Kiran Jindosh and his too clever by half transforming mansion, so you might be wondering why we're back on this carriage. Now, it is a very scenic ride, but the real reason is that while editing the footage, I noticed that I'd forgotten to grab something important. And not just useful supplies, but a mandatory collectible without which I cannot complete this mission. And this is why I often end episodes just before triggering the mission ending, and do the stats at the beginning of the next episode. I don't want to be going down a checklist while I'm trying to play and do commentary, so if I have even the slightest doubt that I've picked up everything, I can check the footage afterwards to make sure. And indeed, in the last episode, I knocked out all the civilians in this apartment, but neglected to rob them of every last valuable, so let's remedy that oversight, and grab this last rune. And with that done, I think Megan's been waiting long enough, and between this and the first game, I imagine Corvo's had quite enough of hauling around Sokolov's unconscious body. So for the second time in his May games, let's unload him like a sack of potatoes in exchange for mission completion.
You did it.
Those 2 kills are not a meaningful impact on our chaos level, that's fine. And with the last minute rune from last episode, we now have all the required collectibles in order to exit the mission. We also picked up most of the coins, which as usual is fantastic. There's only 5 special actions in this mission, one of them the black market robbery. We're not doing those yet, as I mentioned, for a very specific reason, which we'll get to, but we did ghost between the cogs, which is the point of sneaking around and getting to Jindosh without him knowing we were there. We also stole a couple of other special things from him and the ticket booth, and we took out Paolo once. We'll get to him later, but for now, let's move on. And once again we wake up in the void, but this time it's different.
Surprised I can pull you into this place?
This time, Delilah has pulled us in for a chat, or rather for us to be a captive audience while she harangues us about the sources of her epic butthurt, all in an attempt to justify being a raging shitlord and emotionally manipulate Anu into sympathizing with her. As you might gather from my tone, I don't respond well to emotional manipulation, and I'm not too inclined to listen to her bullshit. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of choice, because while you're allowed to skip the conversational portions of her monologue, you pretty much just have to sit through these pseudo-flashback slides. Or rather, I do, but thanks to the magic of editing, you don't.
How much of this is true, and how much is Delilah's warped imagination?
I don't much care either way. To paraphrase the old saying, nice story, still murder, treason, and attempted regicide. Having a shit childhood isn't buying you a whole lot of leniency or sympathy there. That's all behind us now. It's the only one of those sequences we have to suffer through. There's nothing really to loot here on the Dreadful Whale, so let's say hi to our allies and find out what's next.
Unless the Duke falls, he'll undo my best efforts here.
I'm working on that. Believe me, the Duke has my full attention.
Karnaka's key leaders are flawed for certain. After all this is settled with the Duke, and the time of the coup has passed, whichever ones are left standing could change things here. Consider that, as you come face to face with the Duke's remaining associates.
I'll do what I can, Alexandria.
And she's not kidding. That's not just a throwaway line. What happens at the end of the game and the final outcome and who's in charge of Karnaka very much depends on how you play through the next several missions.
I can make electricity move from one side of the room to the other, but Delilah is beyond my understanding. Jindosh often had a visitor, Breanna Ashworth.
The curator of the Royal Conservatory.
Yes, Ashworth is dangerous, as obsessed with the occult as Delilah. Apparently, she's working on a device called the Oraculum.
There's more to her than either of you know.
If Ashworth is one of Delilah's lieutenants, I need to eliminate her. Who knows what this device is capable of, or what she's up to.
What the device is capable of is making this one of the easiest missions that you will go through if you do it right. But we'll get to that. For now,
There is a small dock in Syria Gardens, close to the conservatory. That's as far as I can take you. Ready to go?
indeed, let's head on out.
You might be able to exploit the Abbey of the Everyman in removing Ashworth from play. Turns out the Vice Overseer in Karnaka has been watching Ashworth from a hidden outpost near the Royal Conservatory. Check it out first if you want more options. Remember, if she's still working with Delilah, Ashworth is a grave threat.
Thanks, Megan. See you soon.
And we're in. Start things off with a little bit of looting. And for the moment, we can ignore these fine people. They're not a threat. There is a guard over here, and he will sometimes take slight notice of us from this distance. But he is also not a real threat. and no one will see him from where we dropped him, as long as we do it right there.
Today's your lucky day, madam. It's the day you get to meet Pirate Betty in person. Time to pay the price if you want to live.
Oh no, please! I have nothing. I'm just a poor maid.
I see you.
You need to work on your improv.
Stay
Sounded
here.
like broken glass.
As it turns out, Pirate Betty is just a run-of-the-mill howler trying to lure people into the back alley to ambush them. And ambush is a bit generous.
Please take a look around. We have the best wares for discerning guests such as yourself. Welcome to my shop. Say, an acquaintance of mine is supposed to be holed up in an office overlooking the Royal Conservatory. Check on them if you're headed that way. I'd check myself, but the streets are locked down. I'd make it worth your time.
And he will indeed make it worth our time. The discount that he offers as part of the reward is the reason why the only thing that we're buying now is that safe combination. We're not going to stock up on anything else for the moment. Nothing else that we particularly need in order to complete this mission. Actually, I'm wrong, because as I look at my stun mine supply, it occurs to me that I should have one more than I do.
Welcome back. Please, take your time. An excellent choice.
There we go. Thought I picked up a third one at the end of the last mission, but guess not. That's fine. Slap down these two in this stairwell, and if you remember last mission, then you could probably have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to do with them. She heard my footsteps briefly there, but not enough for it to be an issue. We do have to act quickly here, though. She will eventually turn around. The guy next to her, not so much. He's going to be standing there for quite some time. But her and the guy looking out over the distance there, they were definitely the priority targets. Excellent. Got some stun mine. Excuse me. Got some sleep darts back. Fortunately, just that going out by itself won't be enough to draw all the attention that I want. Just put this nice overseer to sleep. Open the door so that sound can propagate.
Breanna Ashworth.
Fortunately, that is still not enough attention. So let's make sure that we absolutely know I'm here.
Was that a gunshot?
Yeah, I could come check it out.
I know where you are, coward.
The way the mechanic works is that if you do one gunshot or bolt impact near someone, then they'll know someone's there and they'll be alerted. But if you do a second one in short order, then they will know exactly where you are and come running.
But publicly saying anything along those lines will get me accused of heresy by my rivals within the act.
Let's see. Okay. Looks like we haven't quite drawn all of them.
So Vice Overseer Byrne thinks Ashworth is interfering.
Yeah, that line there about the shooter hiding over there.
If true, it's another reason she has
That
to
means
be
they pinpointed the
eliminated.
location. Okay, let's see how many we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is all the guards in this area. There's actually 7, including this guy that we put to sleep over in the beginning, but that's part of the reason why we put him to sleep, so that exactly 2 Sun 9s would take out the rest. And the reason why I bought that third is so I can put this one down there. That's for later. There's more to get in this area, but we'll get it on the way out. Oh, yeah. Alright, let's just blink over here. There are a couple of witches lying in ambush here in this alley. That one right there, and there's one just around the corner that you can barely see. They are not a threat, really. We can just go right past them. They do count as enemies that we need to take out in order to complete the mission, but that problem will sort itself out later, you'll see. Now let's just sneak past them. Leave them to talk about spells and Eye of Newton, whatever. Let's make sure that this guy does not cause any trouble. Now back out the window to trigger this conversation.
Did anyone ever find out what happened to Pearlton and Lieutenant Culvers?
They probably ran off, you ask me. Must have had a thing for each other.
No, she went missing a day before he did. And someone found an officer's pistol in the gutter. I think something else happened. Maybe they went inside the conservatory.
Look, Karnaka's leaking people. We tell ourselves we're keeping it together, but everyone is afraid of what will happen when it really falls apart.
And apparently that was a conversation killer, because neither of them have anything further to say. As soon as she turns her back, he'll be safe to take out. Then wait until she's close enough. And just drop down and put her to sleep as well. Now just come up here and disarm a metric ton of traps. In more casual playthroughs, I like to have dark vision objects for this. It shows the tripwires very clearly, but it's fine. As long as you're moving slowly and keeping your eye out, they're not a real issue. Now let's just do a drive-by on the outsider and take his stuff. Come on, come on. You can fall through the hole, really. Really, it's allowed. Wow, okay. Never mind. We're just going to go down the usual way. There... No, that's just a bottle. It's fine. Let's see. Went by way too quickly. What did I just pick up? I think I picked up Ground Glider. I don't recall having that before. That's all right. Yeah, there's nothing I particularly need to drop for that. And this is just a note illustrating just how shitty the Howler gang really is. They are awful people. Feel free to pause it and read that if you want the full details, but essentially they're talking about something really, really nasty that they did to someone's loved ones in order to get them to pay up. So yeah, we don't have much truck with Howlers. Alright. Now I believe I should have managed to avoid triggering the conversation that's about to take place up here. Excellent, I got him just in time. This is actually sort of a sweet little conversation. And if you're in low chaos mode, then this guard and this woman are old friends from childhood, and it's uncertain whether the guard is being earnest or just using her. But I'm choosing to believe in good faith that they're being honest about it, and that she does in fact intend to rescue her friend and take her on a white boat away from Karnaka, etc., etc., etc. Let's see, where was this chloroform bottle? Yeah, there was one there that I had, but I think there was one more in here. Okay, it's fine. Don't need it. It just would have saved a sleep dart, and, well, with Lucky Needle, I don't have to worry too much about that. Wait, was it right here? No, it's fine. Let's just put this nest keeper to sleep. And since there's no one immediately nearby, we do not have to worry about making noise or wasting incendiary bolts. We can just blast all of these nests. Now, unlike using the incendiary bolts, blasting the nest just does leave all the blood flies, but But if there's not a nest around, bloodflies are generally not actually aggro. You can see that they're just milling around me completely, but they're not actually attacking or getting agitated at my presence now that there's not a nest nearby. Okay, what was that safe code? 120. And while we wait for that, high pressure. No, thank you. That's about exploding whale oil tanks and stuff, and that is not a thing that we need to be messing with. That gives us some bullets back and a whole bunch of money, which more than pays for the cost of the code. Some looting out of the way. I think that was everything up here. Yep. Okay. This is the single most dangerous moment in this run. What I need to do is skip over to a particular apartment. This part, not so bad. This part is pretty much a leap of faith, and you have to make sure that you're right on the edge and pointed at the corner, and then as you double jump, press forward. And you'll just barely land on this balcony. Aquatic nature. Nah, I'll pass. This is all good fodder for bone crafting, though. Let's break them down into whalebone, that's fine. Okay. Now, again, there's a conversation we want to interrupt or take advantage of before it finishes, where these two guards over here are having a chat near their friend.
Huh? Who's that? Wait.
Now, at least two of them are going to go down, and if the other guy rushed over fast enough, then he will as well. But we'll find out in a moment. Let's see, where's that other one? That's right, it's on the desk here. Yep, looks like we got all three of them. That's fantastic. Okay. In that case, I'm going to stash this over here.
The Royal Conservatory. What do those walls hide?
Bear with me for a moment while I adjust my mic.
The conservatory. Built around the time I left for Dunwall.
After trying to make glaze hunts for weeks, she gave up. You should have seen the twisted things she made. All snouts and teeth and tails. That's just the way it is. What she can do flows down to us. Doesn't seem fair.
That's a very important comment. I'll mention more about it in a minute.
Raising cows to slaughter. Any of the gifts we receive is better than living under the boot. That's true and fine. A wise way to look at things.
Strong lungs.
Won't help Lucinda rise any higher in
Yeah,
Delilah's favor.
pass. Okay, now that that conversation is finished, the Roman will path down this way, and as soon as she turns around, we'll make her move. And sometimes that person will fall into the chloroform bottle next to her, but she did not this time. That's fine. There's plenty of time to take this one out before she turns around. Now, I was mentioning that was a very important comment, what they said about their powers flowing from Delilah, and some of what Delilah can do trickles down. I guess it's sort of an implication more than anything else, but the fact is that all the witches get all of their powers from Delilah, and indirectly through Breanna, who has granted them to her. And that means that if you take out the person who is granting the powers, well, it works kind of like inheritance in Active Directory or any other provisions-based system. The thing you inherit from, if it loses its powers, so do you. Now, like I said, once the nests are down, then the flies themselves are not a big issue. Alright, let's see what the situation is. Good timing. She's all the way over there, pathing back this way, and that's exactly where we want her to be. pull her over here. And while I'm right by here, I'm going to grab some loot just because it's off-separated from most of the other loot, and I sometimes forget that these are there. Now that that's done, though...
I'm teasing, Tamika. I read it too. Do you think Delilah would have done that? I've heard the same stories about...
I've got a black bone charm, fleet fighter. That's alright. Okay, these scales can be tough to get underneath the food without getting the food itself, but it looks like that worked out.
Coming back, it doesn't seem possible. That's all.
You're an idiot now. I don't know, Delilah. Forgive me.
And that's just Breanna and Delilah having a little seance through statue down there.
But I doubt he had anything more to give us.
They're talking about what we did to Jindosh.
Who would want that ancient fool? Never mind.
These odd lenses might be linked to what Ashworth is working on. If I can sabotage Ashworth's communion device, she'll be powerless.
That right there is the ballgame. Ashworth doesn't know it, but she has less than 5 minutes left in her powers. Okay, that's good for now. Just remember there's a sleep dart up here for later.
Lenses and cast off parts piled in my workshop, but Jindosh finished some time ago.
Alright. That is not the place where I want her to be for this particular segment.
I look forward to using it myself once you're ready. Will you visit soon? Perhaps. Dunwall Tower is mostly...
Let's wait about another minute or so for her to finish what she's doing there.
And there's the matter of my own...
I say a minute. It's not going to be that long. She's only going to be sitting there a few seconds, maybe. But essentially what's happening here is that there's two others I want to take out. Perfect. Okay. And I don't want her to be at that particular point in her loop when they are, because it'll result in their positioning being bad.
Anna to make an effigy of me.
You mean like this tangle of skin and bones representing one of the Dunderheads from the oracular order?
Yes. I'd keep it in my chambers.
You've bizarre taste, my dear Clarissa. I wouldn't want to see myself like that. I'd rather have my portrait painted by Delilah.
There's a quality to Breanna's style.
Right. Had to do them all at once and while she was over there because they will see her drop from over where they are. All right. Let's get these sabotage lenses in.
Sever Ashworth's connection to the void. All that's left to do is hit the switch, and Ashworth should be powerless.
Her and every single other witch in the map.
What will I do now? I'm ruined.
How about a nap? Do save a sleep dart for her, because otherwise, if you try to choke her out, then she will go aggro and actually fight you. But that is the last of that should be necessary, because every other witch in the entire building, indeed, every other witch in the map, including those two that were waiting for us in ambush, they're all done. Unconscious. Powerless. That means, although there's still some guards out there, we have free reign of the conservatory. Grab his key. And turn off the alarm to the Roseboro prototype. And grab that for the black market shopkeeper. Where is that? Aha, chloroform. Bring this over here and stage it in a convenient spot. And now let's clear the building from the top down. And there are those two maps over there, which I often forget, but I got those already. And that's just a book. And just a few minutes ago, Breanna was having a nice chat with Delilah. This is how. So let's pay our respects as well. Hey, Delilah, guess what?
Breanna Ashworth is no longer a witch.
You villain! You don't even know what you've done.
Sure I do. I've made this mission extremely easy.
I hate you for this, Corvo Atano.
I am unmoved.
I wonder, if you didn't have hate, Delilah, what would you have? Ashworth's journal might tell me more about why Delilah can't be killed.
A lot of those notes I'm picking up are just clues about what to do in order to do the thing that I just did. Okay, so remember we've got a couple of mana potions and a couple of sleep darts to spare up here, just in case I end up going through them while dealing with the guards. Should not be necessary, though. And we've got a very convenient cabinet of exactly 3 stun mines here, but as before, do make sure that you don't just slash at the cabinet, or else if you strike the stun mine, you will set them off. And all 3 of those blowing up in your face, believe me, that hurts a lot. And in here for one of the collectibles, do be careful running around this corner. I have bumped into that whale oil tank too quickly before and blown myself up. That's the thing. Is that? No. Make sure we pick up just the coins and not the rotten figs. Actually, I think there's there's some bullets in here. We'll take those. Now let's head down in the basement. It's a couple things. First of all, since we already took out the 3 guys out here, we can open up this route. And there's a bit of copper wire down here, and a bunch of blood flies that we'll just bypass. And then slip up out through this window, and back in through this one. Here we will get another bone charm. Agile recovery, that's actually not bad. I don't think it's worth making a 4x of it this time, but it's not bad. And this note about the breaking and entering job, this apparently, or at least I'm guessing, is the guy that the black market guy hired in order to break in here and steal the Roseboro prototype. So that's unfortunate for him. Okay, now there's a couple of unconscious witches here that I'd rather not accidentally kill with grenades or what have you. So let's first... should be good. And that should give me enough leeway to get in here.
After Delilah fell to the assassin band, her magic was lost, and the coven scattered. I made a new life in Karnaka.
There you go.
I heard her whispering from the void, leading me to the Duke, who heard those same whispers.
Okay. And now enough of a critical map. Nope. They're definitely unhappy. Okay. Thankfully, the witch's skin shielded me from that small amount of damage. Yep. We'll see about that. Okay, I think that is just about everything in here. Start taking apart the guards out there. This convenient chloroform bottle. And one of the stun mines I just picked up, I will turn into a stun grenade. And stage this here. Oh, there it was. Okay. Very careful over here. Always be extremely careful in how you manipulate whale oil tanks and move them around. So if you accidentally knock them into something or they physics out, it does not go well. Oh good, we got 3 of them all together right there.
What was that? Wait, I'll have a look over there.
I asked the number of mine workers, and he did it. No question. No complaints. Karnaka needed miners, and he produced them out of thin air.
Looks like there's no one else immediately nearby, so it's fine to just take her out. We lucked out on getting all 3 of those guys with that one sleep dart, or not sleep dart, but chloroform.
Someone's shooting at us.
Come on, guys. Seriously? I hate you both. Okay.
What?
Come on. Yeah, stun mine's still active.
It's coming from over there.
Except now he's zeroed in on me as being up here somehow. Can't path to me though, so I don't think that matters. Come on. Okay. I know how I'm going to deal with this. Never mind, he figured it out. Maybe he'll see his friend over there now. Now that we're down here, I can just run out in the open and bait him into it. Thank you. Your taps are the best. 4 faucets that you can hit in quick succession. And any moment now, we should be hearing something useful. Yep. Now let's see, did it also get her? I think it did, yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I got all the ones that spawned in here. So these guards magically spawn in at some point after you, I think it's either after you enter the conservatory or deal with Ashworth. That's why I left that stun mine out there. Okay. I think that is everything, yes? Got a couple of valuables here on the side.
Welcome back. I see you found the prototype.
Your acquaintance didn't make it.
It is a risky line of work, I'm afraid, but let's not dwell. I expect you'll be interested in payment. First your finder's fee, of course, and if you like, I can draw up some schematics based on the prototype, something you can use to modify your tools. And as a token of my appreciation, a discount at the shop.
A fair deal.
Not just his shop, but all black market shops. Now, if you are interested in a reward, don't forget to look down. A lot of people do. I've seen a lot of people in their Let's Plays just completely miss those silver bars and the upgrade.
I'd love to know who made that mask. Very interesting.
I bet you would. And now that we have that discount,
I'm certain you'll be satisfied with your purchase. Bloodfly and
we can fully restock.
This is what I have for upgrading your equipment.
And since we're quite flush on money and there's not a whole lot of upgrades that we need at this time, I'm going to take this opportunity to fully upgrade the pistol. As you can see, we do use it in dealing with large bloodfly concentrations when we don't have to worry about alerting those around us.
Please visit again soon.
Now, I've not mentioned the mechanics of robbing the black market in past episodes because I wasn't doing it, but if you are interested, grab this crank wheel and there's a place down by the dock that you can use to gain access if that's the thing that you're interested in doing. I am not, however. We're going to leave this guy alone. I'm just going to grab a couple of things here.
Got a bit of a cough.
Including that guy's coin pouch. Megan, guess what? I'm back. Faster than you expected, probably.
So it's done.
Ashworth won't be a problem anymore.
Good. But Corvo, there's something else. I knew Delilah and Ashworth. Bought into their bullshit, which led me down a bad road. To be honest, before all this, I thought Delilah dead. I don't want to get into it right now, but I felt like you should know. There are things I regret, Corvo.
Whatever happened in Dunwall was a long time ago, Megan. Take me back to the dreadful whale.
In a large part due to the approach we took, avoiding engaging with the witches and depowering Ashworth in order to knock them all out, this was not only quick but smooth. As you can see, we've just got the one detection there from that last guard that I was trying to bait into the stun mine, and I could have avoided even that if I had just gone with dealing with them with a sleep dart. There were plenty of those that I could have gone back for. Probably would have saved some time too. As for most of the body detections, I don't really care that much about that. As far as I'm concerned, bodies are a tool, and a tool to be used to bait enemies into a position that I want them to be. Once again, we've gotten all of the collectibles that were necessary, which is fantastic, and most of the coins. Once again, there were 5 special actions in this mission, but one of them was the black market shop, which we did not rob, and that's fine. Again, that is entirely intentional. We brought the Roseboro prototype back to the black market dealer, we talked with Delilah's statue, we knocked out Breanna Ashworth's powers, and we took a look at the Overseer outposts, although there wasn't a whole lot to it. With that done, let's move on. It's the next day, both for Corvo and for me, and we're back on the dreadful whale, which we'll find to be unusually empty. Dr. Hypatia has returned to her work and left behind a very touching message.
My mind is finally clearing. Now I can return to my work here, helping those who need it the most. What can I say about what you've done for me? Saved me from madness and, worse, from giving in to a life of sadistic brutality. How could I ever repay you for that? Given who you are and what you're in Karnaca to do, I can only say good luck. The city, the country, the empire, everyone is counting on you. I'll send something special for you, by way of courier. I hope it helps.
That last line of hers about sending something by courier is interesting. I never get anything further from her, so I'm not 100% certain what it is that you're supposed to get, but from information I've gathered online, she will send you the combat sleep dart blueprint if you didn't already find it while at Addermire. But that was one of the first things we grabbed, so if that's the case, we'll have to be content with Hypatia's gratitude and the knowledge that we made the world a better place. Now, Hypatia isn't the only one who's taken their leave. Megan doesn't seem to be around either.
Megan is out in the city, but I'll explain.
So let's see what Sokolov knows.
Everything we've learned implies that something strange happened at Aramis Stilton's home 3 years ago, but then he disappeared. But I have to get there first, through a ruin created by the Duke, where I used to live.
Megan had an intriguing idea. Howlo is leader of the Howlers. He wants Vice Overseer Byrne killed, and of course, Byrne wants Paolo dead too. Both groups will attack you on sight, but walk in with the corpse of their chief enemy, and they'll treat you like family.
So that gives me at least one way into Aramis Stilton's house.
I'm pretty sure that will work.
I knew plenty of people like Paolo growing up. Maybe not as crafty. Vice Overseer Burn. I dread each interaction with the Abbey.
Playing one faction against the other isn't the worst idea, and whichever one you choose, it will get you into Stilton's mansion. However, that means putting either street thugs or religious zealots in charge, and honestly both leave a bad taste in my mouth. Megan's gonna head to the Dust District, and she'll meet us there, so for now, Sokolov's going to be our skiff chauffeur. However, I think that's going to be something we leave for next episode. The Royal Conservatory went by quickly and smoothly, but we've got a lot to do once we get to the Dust District. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment with your thoughts. I hope you'll join me next time. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.